Alright, first of all, this is going to have major spoilers for the new Steven Universe Into Deep arc. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers and you just want to enjoy it before you see this, then go ahead and do that. But please know that I warned you that there are going to be spoilers. So please don't go into comments and say, "Why would you do this to me? I trusted you. I had a wife and family." Unsubscribble. Now, if I had to sum up this first part of the Into Deep arc in one word, I guess it would be anticlimactic. Now, I'm recording this right after I saw it, so most of my memories of this should be really good. And if not, well, if I skip over some parts, you probably know. I don't know. This. To be honest, I'm taking it easy on Diego this time. I'm gonna edit it, and I'm just gonna ramble about what I thought about it. So we're gonna start with the first part. I don't. Oh, Super Watermelon Island. Now, I will admit, I did watch the preview for this one, so I was expecting a lot when I saw the fight between Alexandrite and Malachite. Now, I had been waiting to see Malachite come back for the longest time. So when I saw that preview, I got really hyped because I thought this was going to be a extremely awesome fight. But then I realized that the preview that I watched was basically the whole fight. So I guess that's shame on me for not being patient enough to wanting to go ahead and watch the spoiler, but yeah. Besides that, there was this plot line where Steven was asleep and he would become a watermelon person where he would the way I saw it, the people would be happy and just doing whatever they're doing. Steven goes to sleep and he just steals their body. He just whatever watermelon person was there before is just gone. It from that point on, it's just Steven. It's just him. And so yeah, apparently there was this ritual going on at the beginning where I guess they knew it was Steven, so they gave him a special marking. I wish I could put up visuals on this, but I just finished watching it, so whatever. I'll probably do it if I don't know why I'm in such a reviewing mood, but after I sit down and watch it a couple more times, I might do a full in-depth review on what I think about it. But apparently they did some tribal markings, and then Malachite came out from the water, gave us a big old Steven growl, and then smashed him. And then Steven woke up. So that means that watermelon probably had a wife and family. And then Steven came in and said, "Don't worry, everything's gonna be fine." And then he died. I don't know if Malachite ate him or what, but it was really weird. So then Steven woke up and told the gems that it was Malachite, and Peridot was having a little freak out because she thought it was the cluster. And so the gems decided to go check out, see if Malachite really was back. She told Steven to stay with Peridot in case the cluster emerged. So Peridot had this really funny moment where Steven was like, "Man, the gems need my help. I know they can't do this alone." And then Peridot was like, "Well, why don't you disobey them? I mean, isn't that what you guys are known for? Not following orders?" So then Steven was like, "You're right. I should do that." And he was like, "But I can't leave. So I'll just go back to sleep and steal another watermelon person's soul." So that's what he did, and he goes and he sees the fight between Malachite and Alexandrite. I do have to say, the animation on this is beautiful. You can clearly see why this took so much time to come out. I give a hearty round of applause to the animation staff because it was just absolutely beautiful. I wish I could show you how happy my face is, but this pony icon I have right here, it only has one emotion, and that is disappointment. I'm sorry, I'm lazy. Anyway, so as it happened, the the gyms defeated Malachite, and they separated into Lapis and Jasper. And Lapis, it was nice seeing her again, but in all honesty, I was really looking forward to Jasper more, because I don't know what it is about Jasper, but I think it's a combination of the theory of her being a fusion. I hope they either put a stop to that or confirm it. It doesn't really matter to me both ways. It's just that every character named Jasper is someone that I love. So, yeah, there's that. I just love Jasper, okay? I just love her. I just love its character and its name. Jasper is best waifu. So, yeah, so then they separate them. And then the cluster is starting to emerge, so I guess the portal was broken and you see the island split apart. And so they've already like picked up Lapis's body. But Jasper is still lying on the ground, so when the island splits apart, you just see like her dead limp body just fall into a crevice, and I'm like, yeah, you would do that to Jasper, wouldn't you? I know, but seriously, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent right here. What is up with animated shows and doing such horrible, terrible things to characters named Jasper? I'm sure only a select few of you know which Jasper I'm talking about, but he shows he. Oh god, I'm sorry. I know most of you probably have no idea what I'm about to say, but they gave Jasper one episode, and then he was gone for the rest of the series. He only shows up in cameos. He got replaced by the Asian. Oh my god, that sounded extremely racist out of context. I'm so sorry. Please understand that's not racist. But if you don't know which show I'm talking about, which is most likely all of you, there's only two people who watch the show. But I'm sorry. I should get back on topic. No one cares about this. Jasper and Sue OTP. So yeah, the watermelon person that's inside Steven. No, the Steven that's inside the watermelon person. He has to go back. So Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl all say their goodbyes to Steven because they say they won't be able to make it back in time to stop the cluster. So yeah, Steven starts to wake up. That's the end of the first one. I thought that one was actually pretty good. It wasn't what I was expecting with the trailer that I saw, but it's Steven. It was still good Steven Universe quality. I will admit that. Now the second part, it was so good up until the ending when it got really anticlimactic. So Steven wakes up and he tells Peridot that the cluster is forming and that they gotta go now. So Peridot and Steven get into the drill and start drilling down to the bottom of the earth. Where on the way down, I do have to give a shout out to this little thing. On the way down, as they're drilling through the magma in the Earth's core, you see little gem fusion monsters trying to attack and get inside the pod. And hold on, how should I do this? They're trying to attack and get inside the pod, so Peridot presses a button and it puts up a little blaster. And then she hands him a Nintendo 64 controller and says, "Pearl thought that we wouldn't need this, but I went ahead and did it." And it was, I can agree. You should never go anywhere without your Nintendo 64. I mean, life would be terrible if you didn't take it. So, gosh, this must be so boring without visuals. I might put a couple in if I'm not too lazy. Whatever. So yeah, they finally reach the cluster, and Peridot starts to drill. But then Steven's gym, I guess it starts to act up, and he starts hearing things, and it goes extremely trippy. Like you can tell the animation department either had a lot of fun or hated this part the most, because the way that the scenes were transitioning, like, I can't accurately describe it. The way that it was animated, it's so visual you can't describe it verbally. That's how it is. But Steven starts to freak out, and it turns out that the cluster is actually trying to talk to him. So Steven actually starts communicating with the cluster, and the cluster is saying that they need to form. They want to form. They have to form. And Steven comes to a conclusion that that they just want to communicate with someone, like form, so they can actually talk to someone, or just, I guess, find their other pieces. Because Peridot made a comment earlier saying that they had been broken up so much that they would never actually be able to find their other pieces, which in itself is kind of morbid now that I think about it. But um oh gosh, I wish I was better at explaining this. But anyway, Steven says that he tries to convince them to not form by talking to them. And he says, you know, like, if you're lonely, you have so many pieces here that you could talk to and just, you know, and you could just stay here and just be happy. So then the pieces, so they actually try that and they see that they actually enjoy doing it. So, but then apparently they're so unstable that they're going to form anyway. Like, it's actually not possible. They're actually trying to not form, but it just ends up blowing up in their faces. And so Steven has the idea that he can bubble all of these pieces. So he starts doing it one by one. So he's like, I'll bubble you and you and you and you. All right, and that's 5 out of, oh god, that's a lot of pieces. So then Steven like starts to wake up because he's like passed out in the pod, like talking to the to the cluster. I'm sorry. And so Peridot wakes him up, like, Steven, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, but the cluster doesn't want to form. We have to stop them somehow. They're like, how? It's like, we have to bubble them. And Peridot's like, you expect, how are we gonna bubble this whole thing? So then Steven looks down and he sees that the gems are actually starting to bubble each other, put each other in bubbles. And like, Steven says, all right, guys, you can do it. Just one final push. And I guess Steven also helps by trying to bubble it. So then the whole cluster is just in this giant bubble. So then like they like leave, and then the crystal gems show up, and then they're like, did you destroy the cluster? And Steven's like, no, we bubbled it. They're like, how did you bubble the whole thing? And then Steven said, we had some help. Then the camera scrolls down and you see the cluster inside a giant bubble. If I sound unexcited about the last part, it's because I am. Like, I know it was probably a time constriction, but I guess, I mean, it's still good, but it's very anticlimactic. That's all I'm trying to get at. So, that's basically all that happened. I want to get into some of the smaller things that happened. Like, when they realize that the drill isn't getting through the cluster, Peridot says, Steven, I'm sorry I couldn't save you and all the millions of other people that I really don't care about. But if there are any last words that you want to say before we die, you better say it now. And Steven said, Peridot, I love you. And the Peridot was like, oh, wow, thank you. And then, what else was there? I think I just had a really fun time laughing at all the morbid ways that that the watermelon people were dying. I sound terrible right now. But yeah, I guess comedy at this point really isn't what they're trying to get at. If they throw in a joke from time to time, that's to be expected. But other than that, I mean, it's an okay start to this arc. And I actually can't wait to see what they're going to do next time. I don't remember what the next episode is called, but hopefully it'll be good. So, yeah. That's a summary. I don't know how to end this video. So, yeah. How am I supposed to end this video?